So today we will see few more terminologies of homeopathic multimedia. We have already seen few terminologies. Can anybody recall those terminologies? Just name.
Constitution and temperament.
Very good. Then in the previous week, we have seen constitution, temperament.
Pathogenesis.
Before that, pathogenesis. Very good.
Pathogenesis.
Then
Sphere of action.
Information
sphere
related
of
to
action,
pharmacy.
relation with pharmacy, prover. Okay. That's when you are attentive. Okay. I hope you are learning from those video. But still the number is less. But if you have any difficulty, let me know. So any difficulty anybody of you have? In the terminologies which we have seen so far. I think no difficulties. So today we will see one more terminology, that is disposition. Now to understand this terminology, we will first see the dictionary meaning of this disposition. In the dictionary meaning of this term disposition, the dictionary meaning is a natural attitude towards a thing. And again, there are a few more words in this meaning which we will have to understand. Natural means inborn, which is present since your birth. That quality which is present since birth. To give an example, the quality which is present since birth, you don't have to give training of swimming to the fish. It is inborn to the fish. By the moment they take birth, they start swimming. So these are the disposition that refers to such kind of qualities which you don't have to cultivate, which you don't have to take a special training to cultivate those qualities. They are present since birth. And then attitude is a mental position or a feeling with regard to an object. So the mental position, I am disconnected. I have again joined. So attitude, there are three words in this dictionary meaning of disposition. Natural, which is present since birth, and attitude is a mental position or a feeling. Feeling is a emotion with regard to an object. Now, when a person behaves throughout the day, he may behave or he may reflect his disposition through various types of behavior. But if we see the common pattern of his emotions, common pattern of his behavior, then it is called as a disposition, because it is a natural thing. It is a natural thing to that person. So therefore, this disposition is seen 90% of the time in that person. This disposition word, when we see Materia Medica, it is used at the two different levels. One level is it is used at the level of mind, and then it is termed as a mental disposition, and in other terminologies it is also called as mental general symptoms. Then this disposition, this natural tendencies, natural attitude also exists uh, at the level of body, and these are called as physical disposition, and it is also termed as a physical general. Now, the dictionary meaning is only limited up to the mental disposition, but in our homeopathic mater America, this term is also applied with respect to certain natural attitudes towards the diseases of body. So this is one advanced use of this term at the level of body in homeopathic mater America. So this term disposition in our homeopathic mater America is used at two levels: at the level of mind, it is called as mental disposition. It is further termed as mental general. It is also seen at the level of body, and it is an advanced application of this term. And then it is called as physical disposition, and it is further termed as physical general. And the difficulty so far, then we will see few examples of this mental disposition. There is cheerful disposition. Now, cheerful meaning is what? A patient is very much happy. Always he will be described as a happy-go-lucky person. Whatever may be the situation, whatever may be the odd circumstances, he will be in a happy mood. And then it is termed as a cheerful disposition. And it is present in the drug like alumina. Then weeping disposition, a very famous example. The person of this remedy will be always weeping for small things. Even there is why this person is weeping. The person will say, I have this habit of weeping. I do not require any cause for the weeping. So that is a weeping disposition. Then one more example is quarrelsome disposition. The meaning of quarrelsome is झगड़ालू, जिसको झगड़ा करना अच्छा लगता है, ऐसा quarrelsome. तो बात के ऊपर the person will contradict, the person will start doing some kind of argument, and that argument will not be according to the limits of normalcy. It will slowly enter into the phase of quarrels, and then there will be the argument will be converted into quarrels. छोटा सा मुद्दा है, वो छोटा सा मुद्दा का आर्ग्यूमेंट लेकर बात बहुत बड़ी हो जाती है, बात का बहुत झगड़ा चालू हो जाता है. And this person's or this remedy has that quality that the persons of this remedy will always have a tendency to land up into the quarrels over the small things. The nervous disposition, that means the patient is or the person is apprehensive. He is apprehensive for the little thing, whether he will be able to do a particular thing, whether he will be successful, whether he will be unsuccessful. So such types of mental qualities will be seen in this nervous disposition. Then one more example is yielding disposition. It is present in the remedy pulsatilla. Now the meaning of yielding is the person who is easily coming under the influence of surrounding. That means the person do not have his own firm opinion, firm policies, and fixed strategies of behavior. Say for example, this person is in a group. So 4 people are saying that the group contains of 8 people, and 6 people are saying that they want to go to movie, and 2 people will say no, they don't want to go to movie. They will complete their journal today. And this, if there is a pulsatilla person in that group, he will not have his own opinion. Whatever there is a majority of the group, he will say, okay, the most of the group is saying or has taken a decision to go to movie, so he will also go to movie. Such kind of behavior, who don't have their own opinion, who don't have their ideas, and who always change their behavior according to the circumstances, according to the majority which is present in the circumstances. That is the one meaning of yielding. The dictionary meaning of yielding is the person is very much submissive. Submissive means उसको आप कुछ भी बोलो, उसके ऊपर आप थोड़ा प्रेशर डालो, the person will agree with you. So that is yielding disposition of pulsatilla. And then there is one more terminology is used in Matra America. It is not disposition, but it is disposed. So disposed is again related with disposition. And example is disposed to curse, and it is present in the remedy like Lilium ticrinum. So these are a few examples of dispositions which are existing at the level of mind. Then we will also see the examples of these dispositions which are present at the level of body. So remember again that the dictionary meaning is not at all related with the body, but it is the Matra America authors have used this terminology with respect to the body after observing the same thing, that there is an inborn quality of that person to develop or to have certain bodily tendency. That means they will have this inborn quality. Their bodies will have that inborn qualities or natural qualities. That is physical disposition. And then example, disposed to grow fat, Calcaria carp. Now what does it mean? Disposed to grow fat. There are so many patients nowadays making an attempt to lose their weights, and they have this common complaint, मैंने ये डाइट किया, वो डाइट किया, अमका किया, ये किया, वो किया, उस डॉक्टर के पास गया, ऐसे सब कुछ किया, मैं इतना सा ही खाती हूँ, एक ही रोटी खाती हूँ, एक ही रोटी 2 बार खाती हूँ, लेकिन मेरा वजन जो है वो हमेशा बढ़ते ही रहता है. अगर मैंने 10 दिन में कुछ खाया नहीं, फिर भी मेरा वजन है वह ऑटोमेटिकली बढ़ेगा. So such types of person, we can interpret that these persons are disposed to grow fat. Then one more example is of Calcaria fos. Now this Calcaria fos, there is a less deposition of calcium in the spinal cord, in the vertebrae of the spinal cord, as this medicine has its effect on the calcium metabolism. There will be some kind of osteoporosis or less calcium or in the spinal bones or in the spinal vertebrae, and because of that, this persons will have disposition to the curvatures of spine. Howsoever you give them training to sit properly, to sit straight. Howsoever you give them exercise to strengthen their back muscle, they will develop this tendency of curvatures of spine. The remedy is Calcarea phos. Then one more example is of this physical disposition is there are remedies like nitric acid, about which the Mater Medica writes that these persons are disposed to diarrhea. That means if you observe this person's bowel habit, out of 10 times, 7 times they will have diarrhea, and 1 or 2 times they will suffer from constipation, or the author says rarely suffer from constipation. So that is nitric acid. So this is also an example of physical disposition. Disposed to diarrhea, the persons are disposed to diarrhea and rarely suffering from constipation. The remedy is nitric acid. Then there is a remedy cuprum-mate, which has also one disposition. The disposition, and it is mentioned that symptoms appear to dispose periodically. Now the periodically means what? Today symptom will occur, and after 7 days again that symptom will occur. Again after 15 days the complaint will be at the fixed interval, again it will reappear. So that is the meaning of periodicity. Periodicity means the thing which is occurring repeatedly at fixed interval. For example, there is a symptom, headache. Headache appears on every 7th day. Headache appears on every 15th day. Headache appears on Sunday. So these are the periodicity that without any pathophysiological explanation, the complaint will reappear after fixed interval. That is periodicity. So such types of periodical dispositions also exist in our materia medica. So far we have seen the meaning, dictionary meaning of disposition. It's 2 types: mental disposition, physical disposition, and we have also seen the example. Now we will see what is the merit and demerit of this term. So again it is the same slide, that it will help us to remember the symptoms rather than remembering the person is cheerful while going to exam, person is cheerful in dark, person is cheerful in the morning, person is cheerful after passing stool. Instead of remembering these 4 or 5 symptoms of a specific remedy, if you just remember cheerful disposition, so you immediately understand this person has this remedy has a natural tendency for the cheerfulness. Again, weeping disposition. You don't have to remember the details, symptoms of that weeping disposition: weeping when contraindicated, weeping when thank, weeping when things goes against his will, weeping when neglected, weeping when not appreciated, etc., etc. But if you just remember weeping disposition, you can recollect so many symptoms of that particular remedy. Then the second merit of this term is that it helps in the comparative study. Again, I will take an example of Calcarea carp and Calcarea phos. Now both these remedies has many symptoms which are very similar, but this particular disposition to grow fat will differentiate Calcarea carp and Calcarea phos. In Calcarea phos, it is mentioned that the person's disposed to remain lean and thin. There is a problem in the nutrition. So just by knowing this disposition at the physical level, you can also compare, you can also find out the dissimilarities of two different remedies. So for example, Naxomica and Staphysagrina both have this disposition to anger. Both these remedies have disposition to anger. So Naxomica is also indicated in gastrointestinal complaint. Staphysagrina is also indicated in gastrointestinal complaint. So it will help you to understand similarity, and it will also help you to understand the dissimilarity of two remedies. And one more merit of this term is that it helps in the final differentiation of remedy also. Now after taking the case, we come across usually a group of remedies. So depending upon the careful study, so if there are 10 symptoms present in a case, and out of that 10 symptoms, 7 symptoms are covered by 2 remedies. For example, Calcarea carb and Calcarea phos. Now our remedies are not prescribed upon this coverage of symptom. Maximum is the coverage of symptom, the maximum chances of prescription of that remedy. It is usually not the same equation, but we have to match a remedy at the level of image of the patient. Image of patient which is given in the materia medica. Even though there, for example, even though there are 2 drugs which are covering this cheerful in the morning, cheerful in the evening, cheerful in the night, cheerful after passing stool, cheerful after seeing the person's happy. 2 remedies are there, Calcarea carb and which is the remedy for cheerful disposition we have seen just now. With what remedy we have studied for this cheerful disposition?
Alumina.
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 Okay. So this will help us. Now both these 2 remedies will be there. Calcarea carb will be there, pulsatilla will be there, alumina will be there, covered for this symptoms of cheerfulness. But what our authors of materia medica or what our philosophers suggest that your remedy must not only cover the symptom, but it must cover the image of that patient which is mentioned in the materia medica. So even though in materia medica symptom coverage is different and image of a remedy is different, and when these 3 remedies are covering 2 symptoms of cheerfulness, but finally we will prescribe a remedy like alumina because this alumina matches with the disposition, and disposition is something which is giving additional information about the image of a remedy. So these are the 3 important merit of this term disposition. It will help you to narrow down list of symptoms. It will aid in the comparative study. It will help also in the final differentiation of remedy. Again, what is the limitation of this terminology? That again, it is indirect information, that no prover comes and says to the prover in charge that please write down this symptom, that I have this cheerful disposition. No, he will just write down his day book and from that daybook again there will be statistical analysis of that remedy, and further again they will study that this remedy has shown a lot of symptoms in the persons who are very happy go lucky, who are very cheerfully in their who are cheerful in their behavior, and then they will interpret this statistical analysis in terms of this remedy is having the cheerful disposition. So again it is a indirect disinformation, indirect interpretation, and therefore it has less value in the study of materia medica. That is to be always remembered. It should not be overhyped by we know the disposition, okay, and we can study all the materia medica. No, the disposition is different of a remedy, and the symptoms present in a remedy are may indicate something opposite to that of disposition. So even though we have studied that the disposition helps to remember symptom, it aids in comparative study, helps in differentiation of remedy, we must keep in our mind this limitation of this terminology and study that remedy more and more unprejudiced way. And again, it is again introduced into the materia medica after certain clinical verification. And once there is a clinical verification, there is always a chance of prejudices. And once we become prejudiced about the remedy, oh, alumina has a cheerful disposition, we will never look at the other aspects of that alumina. That alumina is also having some sort of anxiety. Alumina is also having some symptoms related to anger, some symptoms related to grief. We will use alumina only in the cheerful disposition. So these two limitations are the cautions while using this terminology in our study of homeopathic materia medica. Any difficulty?